The truth is, most shrimp tanks fail long before the shrimp do. You feed well, your water's perfect, but still no baby shrimp. I made every mistake you can imagine. Months of waiting, perfect water parameters, 0 buried females. Until I discovered 5 principles that turn any shrimp tank into a breeding machine. One of them is so overlooked, it's why most shrimp tanks stall before they ever take off. And here's a quick win before we start. If you want to trigger breeding faster, double the surface area in your shrimp tank. That single change can transform your tank in weeks. We'll talk about why in a minute. But first, let me show you how these 5 principles completely flipped my shrimp keeping journey. Principle number 1 is surface area equals shrimp gold. Every single surface in your shrimp tank grows biofilm, that invisible layer made up of microscopic life and the starts of algae that shrimp absolutely love. Biofilm is nature's buffet. It's the first food baby shrimp find and the best food they'll ever eat. Here's the crazy part. You can't buy biofilm. You can only create the perfect conditions in which it thrives. When I swapped smooth pebbles for porous lava rock, my shrimp population doubled in under 2 months. That's not luck, it's physics. A bare glass tank might give you 3,000 square centimeters of surface area. Add gravel, rocks, wood, moss, and you increase that surface area by hundreds and hundreds of times. You're not decorating your tank, you're building a shrimp city. I still remember the tank that I switched from sand to gravel. 2 weeks later, the shrimp were all over the substrate, grazing non-stop. The problem wasn't my water, it was the lack of biofilm real estate. Pro tip: sponge filters, cholla wood, Indian almond leaves, they're all biofilm factories. But even with all that surface area, your shrimp still need one thing that fuels breeding itself. And that's where the next principle comes in. Principle number 2, food is breeding fuel. Breeding takes calories. Producing eggs is hard work. And if your females don't have plenty to eat, they may not produce any eggs. I learned this the hard way. Perfect water, perfect setup, but still no breeding. It turns out I was underfeeding my shrimp. Now I feed small amounts daily and I mix it up to give my shrimp variety. I feed spirulina complete for daily feeding. I feed snowflake food, slow release goodness that the shrimp can feed on for days. Then I add high protein foods like frozen bloodworms, which I feed once or twice a week to condition my females into breeding. And when I started feeding a high quality pellet, my males coloured up, my females plumped up, and finally I understood. Food isn't just fuel, it's a signal. It tells the shrimp their environment can support new life. But remember, balance matters. Overfeed your tank and your colony can crash. Underfeed and they stop breeding altogether. When you feed your shrimp, watch carefully. If all the food is gone in under 2 hours, then next time consider feeding a little more. And adding a glass feeding dish to your tank can help you see exactly what's going on and what your shrimp have and haven't eaten. In a shrimp tank, food is communication. It says you're safe here, start a family, have lots of babies. And as your shrimp start breeding, they'll need a safe, structured environment for their babies. And that's where the next principle comes into play. Principle number 3, moss is the shrimp's nursery. If surface area is shrimp gold, then moss is the mint where that gold is made. Nothing boosts breeding like a big, messy clump of moss. Moss does 3 things at once. First, it's a safe nursery where buried females can drop off their babies. Second, it's a constant buffet where every strand is covered in biofilm. And third, it's a food net catching fine particles that your shrimp can nibble on all day long. When my first colony exploded, it happened right after I added a large clump of Java moss. Within a week, I had buried females. And here's the hidden benefit. As the moss grows, it actually absorbs excess nutrients from your water, making your water a cleaner, safer place for your shrimp to live. And you can mix textures. Java moss, Sobwoskatang, Riccia, they all grow biofilm differently. And that variety just makes your ecosystem richer. Now, moss is powerful, but it won't save you if you keep changing the water from under your shrimp's feet. Principle number 4 is stability breeds confidence. Shrimp hate surprises. A 10% water change might look harmless, but if your new water has a different TDS or GH or pH to your current tank water, you probably just shocked every shrimp in your tank. And here's what happens. They stop grazing, the females drop their eggs, and your entire colony just kind of freezes. I used to think I was helping my shrimp by doing a 30% water change every week. Then I went through a phase in my life when I didn't have time to do water changes, and my colonies exploded. It was my good routine that was holding my colony back. I just needed to stop meddling with my shrimp tank. When I stopped chasing perfect numbers and started to concentrate on stable ones, everything changed for the better. My rule now, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Smaller, slower changes beat big cleanups every single time. Your shrimp don't need perfect water, they need stable water. Test your tank weekly, keep GH and KH stable, and only carry out a water change when you need to. No sudden shocks, no chemistry swings. So, if your tank is stable, your moss is thick, and your shrimp are feeding well, what else is missing? It's the final piece that ties everything together. Principle number 5 is time and micro-life maturity. Here's the truth no one wants to hear. A shrimp tank isn't ready just because it's cycled. It's ready when it's alive at a microscopic level. It's not about how long it's been running, it's about how mature it's become. When bacteria, algae, and microscopic life find balance, your shrimp sense it. That's when they breed freely and more babies survive. I've watched brand new setups crash and 6-month-old tanks explode into life. Now you might be thinking, but my tank's been running for 3 months. Maybe so, but watch your shrimp, not your calendar. When your shrimp are grazing on biofilm non-stop, that's when you know your tank is mature. Be patient, let your tank season, and don't restart it just because you haven't seen any babies. Every reset restarts the biological clock. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your shrimp is nothing. A quick reality check. You can't force shrimp into breeding by turning up the temperature or playing with the lighting. Shrimp aren't like fish that often spawn on command. They breed when they feel safe, when the world you've built is balanced and food is abundant. So skip the tricks and focus on these 5 fundamentals. Number 1, surface area builds the buffet. Number 2, food fuels breeding. Number 3, moss is your shrimp tank's nursery. Number 4 is stability gives your shrimp confidence. And number 5 is time lets your ecosystem mature. Follow these 5 principles and your shrimp will breed. Maybe not overnight, but soon you'll wake up to your glass being covered in tiny little shrimplets. And if you want to build a breeding tank around these principles, here's the simple formula I use. Gravel substrate for biofilm, a sponge filter for oxygen, lava rock for texture, moss for shelter, and a gentle LED light for growth. That's it. Let nature handle the rest. When your tank finally reaches that balance, with moss full of babies, with shrimp darting between plant leaves, you realize you didn't just breed shrimp, you built an ecosystem, and that's the real magic of this hobby. If you don't see babies right now, give it 6 weeks. Follow these 5 principles, and when the babies finally do appear, drop me a comment and tell me. I want to hear your success story. And if you want to hear about 10 foods I feed my shrimp, then why not watch this video next? Thanks for watching.